I've learned to love myself when I became my own best friend.
Wow.
Ready for 11?
I'm still thinking through your poem. It was a good poem.
We don't got time for you to process. We gotta move on.
It was a meaningful poem. Give me a moment.
Chloe just called me a dumbass because I was shooting this vertically.
I said it out loud. I thought that was in my head.
You literally said it in a normal speaking voice. It has to be horizontal, dumb.
This is funny. This is last day with me. Please don't leave. You're so cute. You're so cute.
3, 2, 1.
Wait, why do you like this hand clap?
It's like ritualistic. It lets me know we're transitioning from normal conversational mode to we podcast now, baby.
Oh, we podcasted.
We
podcasting.
podcasting.
Yeah, we're here.
Yeah, we're here.
Yeah, we had quite an eventful last 2 weeks.
Yeah, a lot of pickleball.
We also went to a birthday party, which is where I got these wonderful socks.
Oh, wait, we were at multiple birthday parties.
We were multiple, yes.
Yeah, okay,
indeed.
so this was Michaela Murphy's birthday party. By the way, you're sharing this for free? Look at her just sticking her foot out for all of you. Goose socks. You know Michaela's whole thing? Goose feathers. That's her favorite saying. See, that's why everything is goose themed, including your socks.
I like it. It's so cute. But yeah, Michaela hosted her 30th birthday at this wellness tea place, Tea with 𝙊𝙊𝘾𝙄𝘼 in downtown LA, where we got poetry readings. It was all dim lights, and we watched 13 going on to 30.
You got a poetry reading.
I did. Did you not?
No, because so the way this worked, did she not write a poem to describe your soul?
She wrote a poem to describe my soul.
Yeah, what was your poem? What did she learn about your soul?
The poet pulled out 2 questions that I had to answer. I forgot one of them, but one of them, I literally have the poem
Clearly this
somewhere.
is meaningful for you.
I mean, yeah, that was a good time. I like some poetry. I used to do some spoken word poetry back in the day.
Yeah. You were poetry slamming out there.
I did do some slam poetry events in San Francisco.
Okay. Wait, so what was the poem she wrote? What were the questions?
The one question was, when do you feel the most beautiful? Oh, the second one was, where do you draw your inspiration?
Let's hear the answers.
When I feel the most beautiful is when I'm true to the life I want to live. It's like a mindset. It's like 2 of them are actually quite similar. If I envision the life I want to live and I do it, like everything looks beautiful to me. My life is beautiful. When I show up in the mirror, it's beautiful. It's like when you go work out, physically you might not look different an hour before, an hour after. Maybe you have the pump. Have the pump.
There's the pump.
There's the pump. We don't have the pump.
You know what Arnold Schwarzenegger said about the pump?
Yeah, we do.
What did he say?
That it's better than sex.
I just wanted to make you say it.
I didn't want to say it.
You're so PG.
It's so disgusting.
Yeah, okay.
I'm underage.
See, you say that. People are going to think you're serious.
I'm not serious.
Chloe's of age to say words like sex.
Ugh.
But nothing more than that.
Nothing more.
She and her husband, though, Kevin, I've seen them hold hands. So lewd. So inappropriate.
Yeah, it's a little risque.
Okay, so for you feel most beautiful, though, when you feel you're living the life you want to live.
Yeah, I think life is beautiful then I feel beautiful. And that's how it be. Yeah.
Okay, what about the second one? Where do you pull your inspiration from?
I thought about this. I was like, oh, am I inspired when I go out to see people do inspiring things? Like there's a level of inspiration there, but it's not really inspiration. It's more motivation. I think my inspiration comes from forcing myself to confront the blank piece of paper and to actually write the words in my head onto a page.
So you subscribe to, hey, you want to learn how to swim? I'm going to throw you in the pool.
When I'm out and about and talking about this, for me, I've always subscribed to ideas are a dime a dozen. And it's not until you put
ideas aren't worth much.
Yeah, it's not. And then it's not until you create something out of it is when it's worth actually showing, talking about, whatever. In LA, I'm low-key allergic to people who are just always talking about ideas and never doing. They always say but never do. I'm a big action over words person.
Only you would take a question delivered to you by a fairy-esque woman in a fairy-like space about poems about your soul on a question of what inspires you, and the answer is just fucking do it.
Yeah, just do it.
God damn, Chloe.
Yeah, lock yourself in the room. Stop being so distracted, going to useless shit, and just fucking do the thing that you said you would do.
Wow.
That's my inspiration.
I think the poet probably missed that nuance. What were her poems about?
I forgot. But it was like
Again,
pretty.
clearly very meaningful for you. Well, did the poems rhyme? What type of poetry were they? Were they free verse?
I don't think it was that rhymey. Yeah, because like she literally wrote it on the spot, which is kind of crazy. But yeah, that was Michaela's birthday. I loved it. I had a good heart-to-heart with Kira. Kira was there too. Yeah. We had a very, very deep heart-to-heart. So that was great. It was like a moment of breaking down walls and sharing really tough things. I apologized to Michaela after, actually, because I was like, I'm so sorry I wasn't that present.
Oh, because you were in the 101?
Yeah, because I was with Kira, and then Michaela was like, it's okay, that's what this is. This is a safe space for everyone to share. Pretty. She said that there was another person who just got out of an abusive relationship with their ex and just moved out of their apartment that morning. So she was like, that's what it was meant to be. Don't worry. Like, I love you. Oh. And I was like, wow, people be going through it. Like, everyone's fighting demons somewhere.
That's a vibe. You don't know what the other person's story is.
Yeah. So that's what happened.
I did notice you too, because
I saw you like creeping in, like trying to engage, and I didn't know what to say because I didn't know what this would be.
I wasn't creeping in trying
Eric
to
is
engage.
Like a creepy man.
No. They're gonna think this is true. What I did,
I was there. It was true.
I was drifting around the party, and I saw my good friends Chloe and Kira from the side. And I was like, oh, let me go over and say hi. So I came over, and then as soon as I saw they were like sitting a foot away from each other, staring in each other's eyes, they were doing their own version of soul poetry over there. That's when I
tears were shed.
Yeah, it was the thing. It was the thing. So I literally went there and then just walked away. It's like that meme, if you've seen Homer Simpson just recedes into a bush.
Into the bush.
that was me. When I realized the moment you guys were having, I graciously receded because I'm not going to ruin that vibe.
Did you have a good time that night?
I did. It was, I wish I'd gone to do the soul poetry.
When do you feel most beautiful?
When I'm surrounded by people who I know think I am beautiful.
So it's external validation.
Damn.
That's what I'm hearing.
Well, I give you an honest answer, okay?
That's true. My bad. I shouldn't have said that.
Because it feels nice when other people... Actually, I really appreciated... So yesterday, we got a hate comment on the pod that was like, I hate your face.
Yeah, that was really uncalled for.
And I was like, oh, I'm sad. And then Kira was like, well, I like your face. And I was like, thanks, Kira. For whatever reason, I mean, look, I grew up feeling unattractive always. I think I need a little bit of that external validation to like kick-start it a bit, right? For me to build my own. So that's my answer to the first question. I think the second one, when I feel most inspired, when I'm like reading manga or a good book or watching a TV show.
Yes.
And I'm seeing the story arc of a character who's fucking been through it and is emerging triumphant. That gives me inspiration. That makes me want to do and be better.
Yeah, I would say anime is also a huge source of inspiration for me.
You can't change your answer. Your answer was, I'm inspired when I decided to stop being a bitch and do things.
Yeah.
You can't come out now and talk about your muses like, oh, actually, I too.
Well, I mean, I thought about it. I guess like my alteration is that it's motivation and less inspiration, but more like, dude, that was so good. Like, I can see the sweat, tears, and blood behind the motivation. I need to get my ass off the couch right now and go do the thing I said I wanted to do.
For me, it's less about the blood, sweat, tears behind the creation. For me, it's more like, I want to be like that character. I want to be the protagonist.
I guess there's a little bit of that too.
Yeah.
Yeah. But when like the animation is so good and you're like, yo, these people are hitting deadlines, I respect it.
That's so interesting. I've never once been like thinking as much about the people who make it, but maybe I should.
To know that one of the JJK episodes were literally submitted an hour before going live, broadcasted in Japan, that's crazy to me. Like, that's sweaty.
Insane. Yeah.
I would quit.
Wow. You feel inspired when you see sweaty work that's come out beautiful.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the type of stuff you do too.
I do.
Yeah. We had our own little sports manga arc.
We did.
Because we went to Lauren's 31st birthday party, which is a pickleball tournament. And you and I teamed together, kind of. So it was mixed doubles. You had to go with a partner.
Male, female.
So male, female. Chloe, of course, entered with her husband, Kevin, which makes a lot of sense. I entered in with the understanding that Chloe would play with me when she's not playing with Kevin. And when she was playing with
Eric
Kevin,
tried to get a partner. Eric tried.
Oh my God. All my female friends were traveling. Okay.
Yeah, he went through a list.
I did not go through a list. I asked 2 people.
And you were this close to creating a Tinder profile saying, looking for a pickleball partner.
You were exposing me. Except, to be clear, the reason why I didn't do it, people get the wrong idea. I really just wanted a pickleball partner. Like, that's not a euphemism. And so instead, what I decided was, my partner would be Chloe when she wasn't playing with her husband.
Yeah.
And when Chloe was playing with her husband, it would be any other available woman. And so the title of my pickleball team, our pickleball team, was It Takes a Village.
Yeah. The second title that he was going with, the team name was 15th Wheel.
Yes. Thank you, Chloe. Yes. Just expose me completely.
So good. So we needed to wife you up immediately.
Yeah. Well, look, I'm just glad I got to play with you as pickleball partner. And we did pretty fucking well.
Yeah.
I'm just going to say Chloe a few months ago was not good at pickleball.
What?
I'm sorry to say it.
What?
It's true.
I wasn't bad.
But I saw her play and my mind was blown. Like, you were so good defensively.
Yeah, my reaction speed is like pretty good.
You were getting to everything. You were getting to shots that I couldn't. And as the night went on, we actually got better because in the beginning, I was poaching some balls from you where it'd come right down the middle.
Because he's like, Chloe can't possibly get that one.
Well,
Chloe can't
I'm just
possibly
saying,
be a good player.
You never know. You never know. And I'm going to try to cover a ball coming down the middle. I'm on the right, she's on the left. I try and cover it with my backhand instead of letting Chloe get it with her forehand. And very quickly realized, no, Chloe's fucking got this.
I got this. I'm a very stable player.
Yeah, so we did very well.
I love pickleball. That was a really awesome event. I actually loved how it was mixed doubles. I told Lauren, like, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Because usually when we go to pickleball, like, I don't know if I've ever admitted this, but I feel like I'm not good enough to play with the guys.
But you're too good to
play with the girls. Because a lot of people are first timers who go to pickleball on Saturdays. So then I have to like play with the new people or the girls who are not there for the sport.
Chloe.
And then I feel like, dang, I just have to be available when one of you guys are looking for someone. Because you guys all want to play with each other. So I'm like,
I'll play with you. I assume you wanted to play with other girlies.
I mean, it's not that I don't want to. It's like I want to play with good people so I can get a game in.
Damn.
You know what I mean?
I'll pull you in. We'll do mixed doubles.
You know exactly what I'm talking about, though.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do.
I have no idea.
You want to play with good people. You do.
I just like to play for the love of meeting other people.
He's a liar.
Sometimes to win if possible. I will happily play mixed doubles with you against Lauren and Jeremy because you were good. I was so impressed.
I had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it. I played so many freaking games that night. It was like the most pickleball I've ever played.
Yeah.
And the next day, I died.
We were all in pain. Like, my back hurt, my legs hurt. Well, but we made it out. We had our own little story arc.
And then the next day, I was so busy. I had a lot of errands to run, cleaning up the house. Then my family, my grandma, my grandma's brother's wife, and my grandma's brother's wife's daughter.
Oh my God.
They all came over. We had to host a whole thing.
You have such an extended family.
I know. Which, I mean, I love them. But you have to host them. And then that night, I had to drive all the way to Santa Ana to go to my friend's studio to record the song that we talked about.
Yeah, you put together a song.
It was really fun.
Oh.
Yeah, I feel like recently I've been going through a really shitty back-to-back, like a negative experience with content creativity, just getting stuff done.
Yeah, you said you didn't make a reel for 3 weeks.
Yeah, it was really brutal. Like every day I just dread what I haven't done yet and my pile of to-dos.
Wow. See, inspiration is not when you stare at a blank piece of paper. That's too harsh on yourself.
It's less about staring at the paper and more about clearing the calendar so you can have the space to write and create. I think I crumble when there are too many obligations and things I have to go to and I have to like create in between stuff. Like I'm not that good at creating. I have to have like a blank day. But yeah, I just need to confront the paper. And that's when I do my best work. And then I go into my research.
I like that. I've been thinking about it a little bit. So I mentioned briefly before, but I had this conversation with my co-founder. I've been thinking a lot about like, how do I work more efficiently? Like, how do I also build the space and time to create? Exactly. I'm like, I feel like I'm really struggling. Like, it's so hard. I just get so distracted. It sounds crazy, but maybe I have ADHD tendencies. This is inspired in part from our friend Jeremy, who does have ADHD. And Will literally was like, yeah, duh.
Yeah, I mean, I would say so, yeah.
He was
you were chronically on your phone, even when I talk to you.
See, this is news to me. So like Will's
Should I call
reaction.
you out more? Should I be like, bro?
I didn't know. Will's reaction is the same as you. He was just like, yeah, obviously. And I was like, wait, what? He's like, I've known this for years. I was like, why didn't you tell me? It's like, well, it's not my place to say anything. And I was like, and we started laughing because I was like, what? Like, you really think that? And he started laughing. He was like, you didn't know this about yourself?
What are you going to do with this new information?
I'm still processing. So you also You've seen this in me?
I mean, yes, but like
Interesting.
you kind of live with it. I feel
Yeah,
like a lot of people on this space have.
High functioning?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, like one of the things, because like for me, in order to create, everyone needs to be gone. Oh, wait, you've seen it even when we record on podcasts. When we've had our producer around,
Yeah.
I remember being like, can you please go upstairs?
Yes.
And right now, our lovely editor, Jayna,
Yeah, she's right
is
there.
right
She's
behind
over
us.
there.
But it's okay because I know Jayna well enough.
Yeah, he's very particular about the environment.
Yeah, and it's like if I don't know him, if we're making sounds. And my co-founder was like, he remembers the first time we went and shot our Y Combinator application video to like get into YC. You have to shoot a video.
Okay,
And
content creator.
I mean, yeah, 4 or 5 years ago, if you count that as content creation, it's just trying to apply for a thing. So we were shooting it in the living room where we were at, and like my roommate was like at the room next door, like talking. And
That's annoying.
Yeah, as soon as he started talking, I was like, well, we need to leave. And like at 11 p.m., I dragged him out and we tried to look for a place, and we ended up in my ex's bathroom because it's the only place I could find on short notice that I knew would be quiet and not occupied.
Yeah.
And he was like, do you not see this as weird? And I was
did your
like,
therapist never tell you?
no.
I feel like this should have been in therapy, covered in therapy.
I'm going to check this with you. Is that weird to be like, oh, there's people talking, I can't think? Like,
no.
yeah. So that's
I mean,
what
it's like a
was normal.
spectrum, right?
I thought it was normal.
Yeah, you should talk to Kara about it too.
Kira's ADHD?
That's what she says.
Does everyone have ADHD?
A lot of people in content do.
This is the TikTok generation. That's why we have ADHD. Because all of us are just trained on 60-second, 15-second brain rot.
It's possible. It's quite possible.
Yeah. So all that to say is, yeah, I'm definitely going through a bit of a phase right now where I'm like, do I have ADHD?
I mean, it's good to know so you can manage it.
That is why every time we shoot a pod together, I have to like completely close off and listen to music on my phone and ignore everything for a few minutes. Why are you smiling like that?
He has a ritual. I cannot bother him. The man cannot be bothered. He goes into his like mind palace.
Yeah, I go in my mind palace because I gotta focus because there's too much distraction.
His
and
cocoon.
The more I talk about it, the more I'm hearing like these are symptoms of ADHD. When you said you need the space to create, that's why I was like, oh, you mean like the doors need to be closed and the room needs to be dark and quiet and air conditioned.
It's just the day to create.
Yeah, that makes sense as well.
Did we catch up on everything that you wanted to? I feel like.
Isn't it special to have a friend who's just like, tell me everything you've been through on the past few days
I
in
feel
case
like
I've missed
I should
anything?
know everything about your life.
I'll just say, I'm going to call out friendships. Friendships I've been really appreciating. Well, obviously, I appreciate my friendship with you and with Kira.
Yeah.
And we released a pod of new relationship tea talking about my breakup with you and Kira. And we were so fucking exhausted on that. Like, I don't think you understand. Kira was hungover as fuck. And you and I were both really tired. And we almost didn't post the pod. You didn't want to post the pod.
Yeah. It's the I'm single ... again ...
Yeah, yes, exactly.
We came back from like a event with Zoe Unlimited.
Zoe Unlimited's birthday event.
We were in the sun for hours.
Well, you were in the sun for hours, and I was just late.
I was like dying, and then it came back, and we were just dead, trying to have this deep talk. All of us came out of that recording feeling a little low.
Yeah,
and we were like, I don't know if we should publish this
also,
episode.
when Kira shared the really heavy life event she went through, Chloe and I had never heard this before. And so like the reaction you see on camera is, I think, at least for me, one of like, oh my fucking God, this is so beyond the scope of a podcast to talk through that we like turned off the cameras and just stopped and just like talked about it offline. We're like, we can't film this. And so coming out of that, I think you and I were both like, oh, we were all really tired. And like, ooh, was the stuff that Kira brought up appropriate to share in a pod? We wanted to be like really respectful to her. Yeah, we were like, let's not post this.
Yeah, but we went through a lot of honest conversations between the three of us to decide, is this something we are happy to share publicly? Do you think it's a net positive for people to share these stories? And the answer was yes.
Even after we made that decision, getting the pod out was really complicated. It involved me 3 a.m. the morning of, me just like walking around the streets with my flashlight on, looking for a dude supposed to deliver me a memory card with the file on it.
Yeah, dude, it was a freaking debacle.
So if you're wondering why the Spotify episode didn't have video podcast on it for a while, that was like the least of our problems. The main point though I wanted to say was, watching the pod though, I was like, this is actually way better than I thought it was. And it's because of our friendship. And it made me really grateful. So I was thinking, I'm very grateful for our friendship, for ours with Chloe. I also just had some really good conversations with Jeremy this week. So Jeremy took me out to play pickleball with strangers.
Wait, why?
Like open pickle. Like, you just play against randos.
Okay. Wait, is it tournament style?
No, you just like, it's called open play. You just play with people you don't even know. But Jeremy wanted to do it, and I went and did it with him. And he gave me a lot of great ideas for Karat, which you have as well. And we also talked a bit about the ADHD thingy-majig later on. And then also later on, he called me today. And you know how in the podcast we did with Kira, we talk a little bit about how you have to make a choice. Like, this is your person.
Yeah.
Like, this is the one.
Yeah.
So Jeremy's framing was really actually insightful. He said for him, he's thought of it less as like, this is the one. He's thought of it more as, this is the person for whom to keep them in my life, I will do anything and I will change anything.
I mean, that is the one. That is the one.
I just think that's such a helpful framing because I think in relationships that haven't worked for me, there's always been a point where I'm like, ooh, this is a difference between us.
Correct. Yeah.
And like, to make this work, I really have to change myself. Am I willing to do that?
Yeah. Like, no matter what happens in your life, they are the constant and you have to make sure they are the one thing you cannot change.
That's what Jeremy said. He's like,
Correct.
no matter what, you will not let them go. And that's how you know.
That's how you know. You make it work.
That's fucking
yeah.
beautiful.
Through the worst days, through the best days.
So
like,
yeah, I just had
spirit.
some really great friendship moments. And the last one is, I've been spending a lot more time working with my co-founder out of his place, which is why we had the whole conversation about ADHD. Because we're like kind of hanging together and vibing in the same spot.
Yeah.
And that's been really refreshing in a world where we've just been doing a lot of Zoom lately.
Cute. I feel like you and Jeremy are getting a lot closer.
Yeah, it's great.
Cute. Oh, you know who I hung out with today?
Who?
Rowena Tai.
Oh, I love Rowena.
She just came over today.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm going
She
over.
was here.
Yeah, she was
in
here.
your place.
In my place.
She's sitting in this couch.
Yeah, sitting right here and over there.
I just missed her. You know, I've actually technically known Rowena for like 4 years.
Ooh.
Yeah. So tell me what happened.
It was
what
great.
Was it like?
I mean, she came over and then she brought skincare for me.
Damn.
And then she brought 𝙃𝙊𝘾𝙄𝘼𝙍𝙎 coffee. Like,
Is that just like the girly gift? Like, here's what helps your skin look good and coffee?
yeah, I felt spoiled. It was really nice. I followed Rowena for a very long time and we've been texting for months, probably since last year, to be honest.
Damn.
And then we finally met up in person.
How did the texting start?
I think through Instagram. And then like eventually she moved to LA.
Who slid into whose DMs first?
I'd have to look.
Yeah. Do you slide into people's DMs?
I slide.
You slide.
It's not that I have a lot of confidence, but I cold DM and you cold DM.
Yeah. I cold DM
I'm
you.
unafraid to.
You didn't cold DM me. Let just that be stated for the record. I was invested in getting to know Chloe.
Not that invested though.
Yeah, because I left you on read. We're all aware. But I started it and I got
Man
credit
can't be
for that.
trusted.
And then Chloe came up to an event and literally her first thing she said to me in person was, do you know who I am?
Do you know who I am, Eric Way?
It was like, do you know who I am with an implied bitch?
Yeah.
It was great though. So you finally got to meet Rowena, who clearly you guys have been DMing back and forth. So there's no ghosting. So there was not, hey, do you know who the fuck I am, Rowena?
No, man. So I think one of her cousins actually from San Francisco followed me and went up to Rowena and was like, Chloe follows you. So that's how we started to get connected online. Yeah. And she's Taiwanese too.
Wow, you
very rare.
Mickey Rye.
Yeah.
There's a lot of Taiwanese.
No, there's
creators.
not.
Oh, it's just I just know them because of you.
Because once I find out, I'm like, oh my God, they're Taiwanese.
Right. And then it sticks in my memory. So in my head, I'm like, there's so many Taiwanese creators.
So untrue.
Wow.
Yeah. Anyways, it was lovely. I'm going over to her place on Friday to
do her pod,
do an episode
Voice
on
Hugs.
Voice Hugs. Correct.
That's such a good name, Voice Hugs.
It's so cute.
It's very like emotionally
so safe.
ASMR-y.
I love.
What do we want the vibe of people listening our pod to have? Is it, I feel for ours, it's less safe. It's more, it's okay to be savage. And the things that matter for yourself.
Okay, I would say banter, but I'm not very good at bantering.
We banter.
Not necessarily.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not good at it. I'm not a capital G gamer, so I feel like gamers
what
are
the
really
fuck
good
is
at
this negative self-talk?
negative.
Yes, negative.
Negative?
What's with this negative self-talk? Who hurt you? Like,
No one.
you've just never.
I just, you know what it is?
You
I
yap. You're good at yapping.
sometimes would play sports with people like badminton, and people would shit talk me on the courts, but I'd be like, oh, sorry. And they'd be like, you can't say sorry. You gotta like shit talk back, Chloe. Like, that's how it works. And I'm like, oh, but it's probably because I'm bad, right? That's why I'm like bad at.
See, it always is a core memory. There's always a reason why.
This was last year.
Oh, this was not childhood.
This was not childhood.
This was you.
Recent.
This was you as a 29-year-old.
As an adult, as a full-grown ass adult.
Banter is different than trash talk. I don't really trash talk people that much usually.
I wish I were better, which is why I called you a dumbass earlier today.
When did you call me a dumbass?
Oh, earlier when I was like, film horizontally.
Oh, yeah.
Dumbass.
Chloe had a really spicy moment. I was filming her and she's like, huh, film it horizontally. Dumbass.
Yeah.
Wow. Claws are coming out.
Yay.
That was not threatening whatsoever. It's very cutesy.
I'm working on it.
Yeah.
So,
So, okay. So you're thinking vibes of the pod. So our bantery. What else?
Oh.
Like, what do you want people watching us, our Jomies, our Jomo Sapiens, our Jomo Mojos, which, by the way, if you subscribe to the Patreon and we get enough people, let's say, I don't know, like 100 people.
What are you going to do? What are you going to do?
I'm going to convince
Biceps.
Chloe. No.
Abs?
No.
Can I get a picture of you
What?
with abs?
Stop turning this into OnlyFans.
Well, we have to do exclusive content for the Patreon.
No. Wait. I was going to say I'll convince Chloe to rename the Jomo Angel title to Jomo Mojo.
That's so lame.
That's so cool.
The people want abs.
No, only if you
Eric
include...
has
Wait,
abs.
no, fine. If you include...
What about your
A
feet
picture-
without socks?
Stop pouring me out for content. No.
You're the one who shows your midriff all the time on this podcast.
Okay, they're referring to like when I wear shirts, sometimes they write up and then in post we have to fix it later. That's why I have this blanket here to protect my
I feel
chastity.
like in episode 1, there's a layer right here of the blanket, and it's a fake layer.
Don't tell them to look for it.
Look back, and it
No.
doesn't move.
Nobody,
It's so-
nobody noticed it. We didn't get a single comment. Nobody noticed we
Just go
fixed
back
it in
and
post.
comment, and Eric
Nope.
will read it.
That you're terrible. You're terrible. No, I will show a picture of my abs. If you show a picture of your feet,
No, fuck that shit. Ew. Wait, with socks on?
no socks.
No.
Your feet without socks. And
But it's so gross.
And-
I don't like feet.
you're asking me to expose myself, but you won't even. This
I
is
am
a
a
joint.
hypocrite, and
This
I
is a
admit
joint.
it, and
This
I
is
own
a joint
it.
pod. Joint pod. Okay, fine. If not feet, how about? See, that just feels weird. I'm just trying to think of things
I'm
that
not gonna
Chloe
do
would be
feet
comfortable
pics.
sharing.
I'm,
Okay, fine. How about what's something you would share?
Everything? Like I don't know, like my life. But what? What are you talking about? I'm confused
No,
what the question
pics
is.
wise.
Pics wise. Oh, you know what? I'll cosplay as you.
That feels insulting to me.
I will cosplay as you.
Can I cosplay as you?
Yes. We will cosplay as each other. Wait, sorry, what's the goal again?
I don't know. If people watch and subscribe to our Patreon.
Okay, if we hit like 100 patrons, is that a lot?
If we get 100, man, we're so bad at
We're
math.
so bad at this.
If we get 100 Jomo Sapiens, then we will cosplay as each other. And Chloe will show a picture of her feet
Okay.
without
Wait, hold on.
socks.
Feet? No feet. No feet.
I don't know. You said okay.
I wasn't listening. You know how like people do that?
Your clothes won't even fit me.
Yeah, they will. Don't worry about it.
So yeah, I'll wear that and you can wear this. Except what's really annoying is you're going to look good if you wear this.
Am I though? Or will I look like 15?
You'll look, oh,
I will look 15.
you'll probably look 15.
Correct. I'll get an Eric styled wig and I'll wear your glasses
Oh, but then what will I
if
be
we
wearing?
hit 100 Jomo Sapiens.
I guess I won't be wearing glasses. So I'll be dressed scantily in a top with no coverage and blind and helpless.
No. We'll put you on a little dress. I'll put you on.
Don't take me out to the streets because I won't be able to see.
I have
I'll feel
wigs.
very
I have
unprotected.
wigs.
No, well, how does that help? Because you're going to be wearing my glasses. So what am I going to be using to see?
Oh, see, you won't. That's it.
That's my point.
just it.
I'll be
Yeah, you're blind.
defenseless in a skirt. I'm going to need you to protect me.
We'll be indoors. It'll be safe.
That's what they always say.
Whoa.
We're allies here on the Jomo podcast.
Whoa there.
In conclusion, 100 Jomo Sapiens. And yes, I think Ruina voice hugs, vibe very safe. I really think our vibe is a little bit edgier. Just a tiniest bit.
And more tactical, I think.
Every now and then we'll do a relationship pod, but a lot of it, we're going to get to this soon. I promise we're going to get to this. Things like 33 lessons by age 33.
All right, I'll start.
Yeah.
Lesson number 1, be unafraid to fail.
I think I should be reacting to these
Yeah,
with
you
how
should
strongly
react.
I agree.
Yeah.
I wish I had like paddles. Like, this is a great lesson. Or, Chloe, I don't agree with this
Yo,
lesson.
dude, if you don't embrace learning how to fail in your 20s, like you're screwed.
Yeah, okay. This is a good lesson. I
It's a
agree.
good lesson.
I
Like,
agree.
you will be unstoppable if you get really good at failing and learning from failures and being unafraid. Because a lot of people going from school to adulthood are like, oh my God, I don't want to do that thing because I'm going to fail. Of course you're going to fail.
You know, and it's also, I think, really hard for those who are growing up in immigrant backgrounds because, at least for me, I was trained like failure, like
Bad. Failure,
bad. Like,
bad.
literally, like Japanese culture, that's like you commit seppuku,
Whoa, that's too much.
right? Or harikari.
I don't know what that is.
It's the same thing. You stab yourself in the stomach with a sword because of the shame you've brought
Yeah.
to yourself and your family, right? So, like, I think it's actually really scary to be like, failure is okay.
Failure, bad. Yeah.
I remember, and the last thing I'll say is when I actually first moved out to Palo Alto, I attended this startup boot camp called Rejection Therapy,
Mm.
and it's supposed to make you a better founder. I wasn't even a founder. It's for aspiring founders by going and trying to get rejected. So they give you little prompts, like going up to strangers and asking for things. So like we had to go up to strangers and ask for bus money and do things like that.
How was that? Did they give you money?
Honestly, I think it's because I'm just like the most unassuming Asian nerd ever.
They're like, sure.
Yeah, no one was scared. They just were like, okay.
How did you say it? Like, excuse me,
Yeah, it's just like,
can you give me some bus money to get home?
see, the way you do it makes it feel weird now. Like, is this a euphemism? No, I just went up and be like, hey man, I'm super sorry. I forgot bus money. Can you spot me a bit? And they'd be like, sure.
Oh, that's so casual.
Yeah. And I was
Yeah.
like, I don't feel sufficiently rejected, but fine. So yes,
Wow.
I agree. Be unafraid to fail. Lesson number 1, 4 out of 5 stars.
Wow, you're doing a rating. Lesson number 2, you don't have to say yes.
So
It's for people pleasers who always say yes.
yeah, 4 out of 5, 4.5 out of 5. That's a good one. I think it's hard to learn to say no.
I think the story is once upon a time, I was in line for a club in New York
Wow,
City.
I thought
in
this would
K-Town.
be like professional shit. And
No, clubbing.
this is not professional.
Hard clubbing. Let's go.
Wait, you went clubbing?
Yeah, I went a couple times.
You had a clubbing era?
No, I don't think I had an era. I went
No,
a couple
sorry.
times.
You were a club goer.
I went to Raven in San Francisco.
I don't even know what
I
this
went
shit
to
is.
Temple and then some random clubs in.
Do you have photos of you in clubbing clothes?
Yeah, I got a dig, but it was fine. It was fine.
I've gone clubbing
I love
like
dancing.
3
You know I
times
love
in my
dancing.
life. I've like never see you dance.
I love music. I love
But
dancing.
you don't dance. You don't show it.
Oh, I do dance. I used to be in a dance crew.
I know, you and
Yeah.
Kevin. You guys have really cute reels
And
of
I
you
used to
dancing
dance
together.
in San Francisco too.
I'm
Yeah.
impressed. Okay, so you were club
Yes.
going. What happened?
We were out all day, and it's one of those like we're staying up super duper late. And in, like, I think 40 minutes into the line, one of my friends, Sean, who is now an engineering manager on Instagram.
I love you give this context of their
Yeah.
now adult life.
Correct. Well, like he's been on Instagram like his entire time. And he was like, all right, I think I'm going to go, guys. And he dips.
Yeah, that's how you do it.
And I'm like, what?
Oh, you wanted to go too.
I didn't know you can just do that.
That you can just leave.
You can just leave. And that like changed my brain chemistry. Wait a minute. You can just not do things you don't want to do just because other people are doing it.
Wait, so you were just clubbing, but you didn't even like clubbing?
I think I was just doing because like, oh, that's the thing to do in New York and I was young. And I felt it was like, I'm supposed to live life or whatever. I like dancing. I don't like clubbing.
It makes sense.
I'm tired and then
I think
next
it's a good
day-
lesson. I'm also going to get the inverse. Sometimes say yes to things.
Yeah, I'm very much like if it's not a hell yes, it's a no, unless it's an obligation. And sometimes obligations are a choice. But I think as a people pleaser, my lesson was you have permission to say no. And no is a complete sentence.
It's true.
I've not been able to do that. I say no because why?
Yeah, you don't need to give a justification. It can just be no.
You don't.
That is one of the things I really do like about this friend group. I say no a lot, and it's chill.
True. Yeah, it's chill. Lesson number 3. Managers can make or break your career.
I mean, 5 out of 5. Yeah, because they're the ones deciding whether you get promoted.
Yeah, it didn't realize how important following the right manager is and how they'll ruin your life. Literally ruin.
Wow, you've been through it, huh?
Yeah.
Is it time to take out the trash? Who did this to you? What happened?
One of my managers didn't say this to me directly, but just to give you a flavor of what she's like.
Yeah.
She literally told someone else on my team, you should be thankful that I don't make you do my laundry. That's what we have to do at where I used to work.
Wow.
Yeah.
The nerve. This is like Devil Wears Prada, but she's not Miranda Priestley or Meryl Streep. She's just a rando.
I know. And I'm like, yeah, this is tech. We don't do that.
That's fucked.
We don't do that. No. Mm-mm.
So what do you do when you have a bad manager like that? What's the recourse here?
Leave.
Yeah, I think it's quit. That's what I did. That's
Yeah.
why I left Instagram. My
Because
best
it's
manager
so
was not
hard
good.
to change bad managers.
Yeah, you can't.
Especially at that level, it's like, yo, that's unchangeable. You
I
have no
really
power
think
there.
too, plus like just like when you date someone, it's different than when you're friends with them because you unlock another level of personal relationship, fucked up shit they went through as a kid.
Yeah.
Same thing with a boss. Like you might work with somebody, but it's different when they're managing you. You get
Mm.
to see all their insecurities and issues manifest in how they work with you.
Mm-hmm. I know.
Yeah.
It's just egos
So-
everywhere.
Good lesson.
I don't have like a one-liner for this lesson.
This is lesson number 4 for those counting at home.
Number 4, I think it's not really a lesson, but like a how to pick yourself back up. But when your life falls apart, and I think everyone in their 20s has a moment in time when they're like, my life is falling apart. You know, you have a couple of pillars of life. You have your love, you have career, you have friends or family. When one of these pillars falls, you lean on the other 2. But when 2 of these pillars falls, oh my God, that's when you hit like a version of rock bottom. And you have to do so much to lift yourself back out of that pit. So this is just kind of a story
Damn.
on like how to pick yourself back up.
When what pillars fell for you?
I think it was career and love at the same time. That was brutal. That was freaking
That's right.
brutal.
Because yeah, you had dated some really bad people, and then
Yeah. Because like when you put all your identity and career and that like screws you over, and then you also had this person that you've trusted all this time who then betrays you or like becomes someone you've never known before. And it could be a friendship too. Like those things will plague your everyday, and you lose your sense of self and psychological safety to just be who you were meant to be.
That's why I think it's really important in relationships. Don't stop doing the things that make you you.
Mm-hmm.
Because otherwise, if the relationship fails, you lose one pillar, and then you might have lost other pillars in your life because you let go of them in that relationship.
Yeah.
Like, stick firm to who you are.
What I did was have to build a really great sense of self that no matter what, friends and job, if those fall, it doesn't affect me as much. It's like, it is what it is and it happens. Even if it's not my fault, usually it's not my fault. And I have to know, oh, I'm still worthy. I can move on. I can create opportunities. This is not the end all be all. Yeah, that was a painful experience.
Number 5.
This is very similar, which is, what do you do when you're lost in life?
Okay.
The quarter life crisis.
I don't know. This felt more like 4A and 4B, but sure.
Yeah.
Lesson number 5.
The answer is to read the book Designing Your Life by Dave Evans and
fucking cop
Bill
out.
Evans and
I
forgot their names.
Your fifth piece of advice is go look at someone else's advice.
It's not about like knowing what you're meant to do, but it's the process of finding what you're meant to do.
It's the journey.
Yeah. And that's how you determine what.
I'm so impatient. People always say that. They're like, no, you'll figure it out for yourself. And I'm like, or you could just tell me. What should I do? But I know that doesn't work.
How can someone else tell you?
I mean, I know they can't. It's not like anybody actually knows what they're doing, and it's not like their advice to you is going to be good. But God, it's like such a trope, right? And like every fucking show or anime ever, it's like you go to the mentor, you're like, please help me. And the mentor's like, seek the answer within yourself.
I mean, because they literally can't tell you. You literally have to decide for yourself what it is.
I know. And that's the whole point of life, because you already knew. And like, what's the point?
I think the premise is really like, say you are meant to, I don't know, move to Japan tomorrow, but it would be a pretty bad idea if you bought a one-way ticket and packed up all your things and left tomorrow, because through skipping the process, you might run into things you're not prepared for, that you're unexpected, and then you become depressed. You might lose something. You might encounter challenges you didn't set your intentions to face. Instead of committing completely 0 to 100, you try it before you buy it. Like you trial something there. You like have the prototype experience, which is just, maybe I'll take a hint of that to answer some questions and risks that I had in my head and see if I can get enough signal that this is the right direction. And you keep like building that confidence. Yes, this is the right approach, or yes, but there's a little bit of adjustment here.
This is the designing your life process.
Correct.
Like trying things, exploring. Okay.
Goes back to the failure thing of like, you have to learn to tread yourself, but tread in the way that makes sense for you and where you're at and your strengths.
I like this. This 3.5 out of 5.
Wow, that's a low rating.
You lose some stars because you are relying on someone else's book and advice. I'm just saying.
All right, next one.
Yeah.
6. Don't compare your behind the scenes to someone else's highlight reel. It's on comparison.
It's a good one.
Yeah.
Especially with social media. You're literally seeing the goddamn best parts of their life.
Like it's so easy to doom scroll LinkedIn. Someone's making 600K at fucking Instagram or some shit, living in Lumina in San Francisco.
Why are you calling out Instagram?
Okay, fine, Meta, whatever.
It feels personal now. But fine.
My bad. My bad. We mentioned this on, I think, the previous episode. I forgot which one, where you're like, you're jealous of 2 founders.
It was 2 people. One of them worked their way up at Instagram, and the other was like a founder. And I realized, like, what's the point of being jealous of both of them? They're doing such different things. I need to figure out what I care about.
Yeah, totally agree.
Number 7.
I love this one. The grass is greener where you water it.
I'm going to give you 5 out of 5.
Okay.
Because I appreciate you're taking an old saying and you're changing it. The grass is greener where you're watering it. So you're kind of saying the opposite of the original saying. You're saying don't try and go to where others are. Just try and build what you have into something more.
It always feels that way. The grass always seems greener on the other side, but it truly is where you water it.
Did you come up with this yourself?
No, of course not.
Oh, man. Okay. 3 out of 5.
Lesson number 8, therapy is lit.
I agree. Therapy is pretty great.
We're moving
When
on.
did you start to see therapy?
When I was 23.
Wow, pretty early.
Pretty early.
Look at you, so enlightened.
Not that I was enlightened, but I was heartbroken.
Ah.
Yeah, and that was why I started.
What was that process like finding your first therapist?
Psychologytoday.com.
What the fuck? Really?
Yeah.
I mean, I've read articles there.
Anthem PPO.
You literally just found a random therapist off psychologytoday.com.
Well, I think I went through a couple. It was actually really hard to find therapists who were available, but we did.
It's super hard. Also, they need to be like a good fit and vibe with you.
And yet they don't email, so you got to like call them. during business hours.
Damn, you have
when
like
you're
a
working.
old school therapist.
This is 𝙎𝙊𝙎𝙎𝙍.com. Most therapists
Oh
are
my
like
gosh.
this.
What was your first therapy session like? Did you feel the vibe?
It was fine. It was a 70-something-year-old PhD graduate from Berkeley who was like awesome.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's like someone who's like lived life.
She was like, I think a hippie back in the day. She was awesome. And one time I was like, do you know what a fuckboy is? And she's like, yes, some of my clients are fuckboys.
That's pretty fun.
Like imagine a 70-something-year-old white
Goddamn.
woman from Berkeley.
My first few therapists never really stuck with me. And the therapist I've been seeing for the past 4 years, I vibe with her a lot more because I think this is different for different people. But my current therapist is from like a more underrepresented group, like
Okay.
a minority.
Cool.
And I feel like she understands me more versus some of the other therapists I found. I just feel like they never really got it.
Yeah.
But
That's important.
that's just me. I think it's different for everyone. I do think it is a lot like dating. You got to see a lot of therapists.
A lot of my friends say that too, like especially with immigrant backgrounds, they really
Yeah.
needed someone who understood that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like those are cages in your mind that you have to overcome.
For a while, I also thought about like becoming a psychologist or therapist. I seriously considered maybe like doing a post-grad in psychology,
My friend did that.
getting a master's.
She worked in tech and
Yeah.
she went to Columbia grad school.
Wow.
Yeah, and now she's a therapist for emotionally challenged techies.
That's really funny.
Yeah,
That's so
specifically.
good.
That's a specific market
Wow.
she's going to specialize in.
Emotionally challenged psyches. You know, I actually thought the reason why I decided not to become a therapist was I decided I have too many things going through in my own head first.
That's really important. That's great self-awareness. I'm so glad you're there.
I remember another reason why I didn't like my first therapist was I was telling her about my story and like she started tearing up during some of it. And I was like, this is so not professional.
She's an empath.
Yeah, but like now I feel bad. Like,
oh no.
right? Like then it's like you're talking to a friend, and then I'm like, well, I don't want to share anymore. Like now you feel bad. I'm like, I was like, I didn't think my story's that bad. Is this so sad that now like you're crying? Now I'm like need to like modify and mollify and soften it. You know?
I see.
Sorry.
But anyways, therapy's lit.
Therapy's lit. That was what, number 8?
Yes. Number 9, being alone is not lonely.
Huh. Interesting. You're not lonely when you're alone.
No.
Well, you're married, so you're never really alone.
But even when I was alone, I love being alone. Yeah, I really do.
You don't need interaction.
I think I used to fill my weekends and weeknights with like hanging out with people.
You still do this. What are you talking about?
No.
You're so busy.
I know I'm busy, but I'm always like, I don't really want to do this. I really would like to be alone.
We literally
right?
film a fucking podcast every week.
And you know, during COVID, I did not feel like it was lonely at all.
Oh yeah, I was pretty fine during COVID.
Yeah,
I was like, it's chill.
dude, yeah, this is chill.
Yeah.
This is great. Like, I have so much time. Woohoo.
I was really scared though. So I was okay with the social isolation issues, but there are 2 things that really got me. One was not being able to cook and not having food.
Wow, survival issues.
Yeah, I microwaved an egg and a mug.
You're disgusting.
It was terrible. And I realized if I didn't figure out how to cook then, I would never figure out how to cook. And then I didn't figure out how to cook.
This
so
is
I've just made my peace with
techies
it.
are man children.
Yeah, at one point I was like figuring out how to boil water, and like I was pretty sure I knew how to do it, but I just wanted to double check. This is, during COVID. So I Googled how to boil water, and I came on this like WikiHow article, and step 1 was
Do you
like,
want this to be public?
yes, because I've learned, I've gotten better. This is a previous self.
I am ashamed on your behalf.
We're all getting and improving. And step 1 in this like WikiHow article was like, look for the metal indentation in your counter. That's the sink.
I know. They're so fucking passive aggressive. It's so good.
But it was serious. I felt really insulted. I was like, I know what the fucking sink is. And I complained about it to a friend. And he was like, you're Googling how to boil water. What did you expect?
It's true. They did break it down.
Yeah, I was like, oh, that's fair. I give this 4.5 stars out of 5. I think it's good advice.
Lesson number 10 is not like something can boil down, but it's a lesson on how I learned to love myself. When I went through the worst of my times, when I looked in the mirror and I saw I couldn't recognize that girl anymore, who couldn't smile, who didn't have the spark in her eyes, I hated her. And it was just darkness every day, gloomy. You know how that felt. You know. That's
Trust me,
the pit.
I do.
That's the rock bottom, and the pain of every day and crying and like the feeling in your stomach that just like caves in, like everything just hurts, like, and you just want to punch it out. That was when I realized I don't know how to love myself, and then I went through a series of steps, and I wrote a whole poem called "How I Learned to Love Myself."
That's really pretty.
On like the process of getting there.
Do you love yourself now?
Oh yeah, I do. I do. It's like pretty lit.
Pretty good.
Yeah, it's a good time.
Wow.
That's why I am better with being alone,
Because you love yourself.
Yeah. And then when things happen, like the career layoff happened, when like bad stuff happens, a lot of it is not my fault at all. And I just know I have my bag. Yeah. And that keeps me going forward. I've gone through so much. I trust myself.
You still have the poem?
Yes, I do.
You know what? I'm going to give this a 10 out of 5. Because I think it's so powerful. I think the most important thing is you loving yourself. If you don't love yourself, you're not going to be able to love anyone else. Probably make it hard for other people to love you.
Yeah.
And the fact that you wrote a poem.
Yeah, and it rhymes.
Oh my God.
Spoken word a little bit.
A rhyming poem. You know, and this is before ChatGPT existed, so.
I'll read the last verse after. So it's basically like every sequence of events of things that I did. And then it starts with, I looked at the mirror, right? And I saw a broken girl. Like she did not know how to love herself. I wanted to love her. I wanted to make her the woman of my dreams. And then it ends with, 6 months later, her eyes sparkled, her smile gleamed, and the strength shined from the mountains she's climbed. She glowed with this light of the future she was empowered to design. And she whispered to me, I love you more than anything combined. It was just me standing there, feeling so proud and alive. Without anyone holding my hand, I knew how to live life and thrive. No accolade or validation was needed from anything outside. It came from a place deep in my heart, and now I know in my mind. I know it's not uncommon to lose your way and forget that you're actually pretty awesome. I know now that I should never give up because I've done it before and I'll do it again. I've learned to love myself when I became my own best friend.
Wow.
Poetry's lit. Poet.
And you know it.
Yeah, and I know it. Oh, Hamilton. Okay. Ready for 11.
Well, I'm still thinking through your fucking poem. It was a good poem.
We don't got time for you to process. We gotta move on.
It was a meaningful poem. Give me a goddamn moment.
The moment.
It's a good poem.
Thanks, dude. I'll recite the whole one for you
after. Do you still write poetry?
I write short form scripts now. Yeah, because rhyming is really hard.
Just do free verse. I used to write free verse for ex-girlfriends.
That's awesome.
I wish written it for someone who was still around, but yeah.
I wrote a couple of poems. It was a way for me to process my heartbreak. A lot of heartbreak was processed through it. Then I felt that I could close this chapter because I had something tangible to be like this thing that I can point to and show that represented that time of my life. And now I can resolve it.
I love it. You checked the box. Okay, let's move on. Number 12.
Choose the fucks you're willing to give out. This is a subtle art of not giving a fuck, like type of thing.
Yeah, I love you went from a 12-minute poem to like potty mouth.
I don't know how else to say it.
It's fine. I'm just commenting.
It's like you see this can and there's all these forks in it and you only have so many forks to give out. You can't give out, like if someone asks, hey, can you give me a fork? No. You'd be like, I don't know if I want to give that to you. Goodbye.
What have you stopped giving fucks about?
Narcissistic best friend, the ex that kept coming back.
Oh, that's true.
The toxic manager who kept taking my time away. The startup company that kept, almost like low key, was a little abusive to me. Yeah. And just a lot of friends who asked for too many favors and never really gave back. And they always thought, oh, if I do it, then we'll be friends. And that's just the wrong way to go about it. I just have to remember my own needs. I can never give if I don't have myself. It's like cowardly because I'm afraid to confront, to let someone else down.
Yeah.
So when I finally realized I can be a more loving person, my bucket is enough if I filled my bucket first.
Yeah,
but if it's empty and people ask.
Fucks.
So that was a big moment.
I like it. 5 out of 5.
Yay.
I love how I'm rating your life realizations.
Lesson 12, question everything and build a bullshit meter. I just think there's a lot of bullshittery in the world and you don't always have to accept it at face value. I think in school and as like a Asian American woman, I think I took authority like, oh, if you say so because you are the boss, it is gospel, right? But I realized that no one knows what the hell they're talking about and they're talking out of their ass. And if you don't do that gut check of like, does that really make sense? You are doing a disservice to yourself and the person who's asking you. So I think building that and learning to understand why this was asked of me. So I really, really get it. Yeah. And I think a lot of that is
When's the first time you realized people don't know what they think they know?
In the startup. Yeah. Because people were like 10, 20 years my senior. And I was like,
God, they don't know.
It's not that they don't know about what they're doing. It's that they don't know about what this is, which is streaming. And even if they are 10, 20 years my senior with a great career of expertise and I'm only out of college, like a couple years out, I knew my stuff because I'm closer to it and I did the research, I did the work, I did the homework. And you don't. You clearly don't.
I mean, it's the whole reason why startups even exist, right? The world moves so fast. Even if someone knew something a few years ago, that's been outdated so quickly.
Yeah.
Someone else can always come along and try something different. Why can't that person be you?
Question everything.
5 out of 5.
Yay. Lesson 13. Negotiate the heck out of your salary.
You negotiate the heck out of everything I've noticed, including brand deals.
I try, yeah.
If you're a brand and you've reached out, Chloe will fucking negotiate the heck out of you.
I know my value, I know my worth, and it's understanding. I think it's like a personal relationship with yourself. What are you willing to give up for the price that is given?
Yeah, negotiation is hard. I'm not great at negotiating things because I'm always like, oh, but I like you.
My mindset is not really like I'm trying to get the biggest bag. My mindset is this a win-win for the both of us? Is this something that'll excite me to the point where I'll create something freaking masterful for you and you think that you're getting a great investment deal? Like, I really believe that.
Great framing.
That's why I spend the time to negotiate. 14 is around don't be afraid of money. Yeah, as a woman, I feel like, and with my family, we never talked about money. And I was always afraid of it. I didn't know how to budget. I didn't know how to talk about it. I never knew how to ask. I always like freaked me out because I never had enough of it. So I was scared of it. And it wasn't until I confronted the little that I had and was upfront with that with my friends and asked for help and asked their salaries. Like, everyone was always making more than me. Because I wasn't in engineering or product, like core.
So they sort of take advantage of your ignorance.
Yeah. And whenever we'd go out, like $50 on a dinner, I can't afford that shit. So it was a sore topic. And then it wasn't until the last 4 years that I started dating Kevin that he created like a safe space for me. There are times in the beginning of our relationship where I would cry because we would talk about his, comp as a software engineer at Amazon, Twitch, which did remarkably well. And me with no equity, like, it's tough. But I learned and I had to face it.
It's interesting because for me, we also grew up poor, and the opposite reaction, my family talked about money all the goddamn time. Like, everything was quantified and how much it costs. Every decision we made was based on how much we think we can earn. And so I think that's in a weird way. Growing up, now I've had the opposite reaction where I just try not to think too much about money because I grew up always having to think about it. But it comes also from a place of fear.
It would have been okay if it weren't from a place of fear and more of like, I know what I'm trying to get out of this conversation about money right now. But because of that, it does feel a little bit like, ooh, yeah, it's tough.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I was also out of place of fear. Didn't want to talk about
$5 bills out of $5 bills.
Excellent.
$5.
How you do anything is how you do everything. 15.
I disagree with this. 1 out of 5.
What the fuck? What's wrong with you?
I think you can pick and choose. Not everything has to be internally consistent. There can be things you care a lot about, and there can be things you don't care about at all. And so I don't believe that like this little thing you let drop, so I can't trust you with the big things. I'm like, no, I let this thing drop, but this thing I care about. I let a lot of things drop. I think that's
okay if you communicate that, to be like, I'm intentionally not prioritizing this because I prioritize something else. But if people let me down because they thought they can cut that corner and not let me think they can sneak that, what else are they sneaking?
Okay, fine. Don't try and sneak away on things that you can't do.
If you lie about something small, maybe you lie about something
I'm
big.
honest. Like, there's a commitment someone asked of me where I misunderstood the nature of the ask. And I've been just repeatedly telling him over and over, like, this is not something I can commit to. So I agree. It's like, I think it's fine to not do things, but you have to tell people, be very upfront.
Correct. Yeah. Be upfront, set those expectations.
Okay. I'm bumping it up to 3 out of 5.
Okay.
Still mixed.
16. The grind is not the only game to play.
Right. As in, you don't need to be hustle boy, get up at 5 a.m.
Correct.
Eat bison livers.
And take a cold shower. 3 cold showers.
We literally thought cold showers.
Yeah. It's the bison liver cold shower.
Totally.
Run 20 miles.
It's that meta.
And it's 6 a.m. still.
Yeah. You don't have to live life that way to still do things that are meaningful.
I told you a story, right? Of like this founder backed by A16Z, tried to hella recruit me to her company. It was like an hour and a half call when it should have been 30 minutes. And it's like 7 p.m. And she's like really trying to get me to understand her vision. She's like hustling hard.
Yeah.
And I like respect it and I get it. And then I hear a flush, a plop, and then
pooping.
A flush. Yes.
Oh no.
And I'm like,
she's trying to sell you.
And then she's like trying to talk on top of it to cover it.
She's defecating on the toilet.
And I'm like, girl.
And she forgot to hit mute.
No, she was talking on top of it while
she was trying to mask the plop with words.
Correct.
You can't do that.
And I'm like, dude, that's like too much. That's the type of sweat I'm not willing to sweat out.
Oh my gosh.
That is drenched. Lesson number 17. No one's going to give a shit about your career. You got to fully own it.
Unless they're talking to you and they're plopping and they're trying to mask the sounds of it, then they're giving shits.
Good callback.
Yes. But otherwise, no one cares about you unless you do. And you call them out on it.
Mm-hmm.
Good. I like it. Solid. 4 out of 5.
Number 18. I don't have the wording quite right. There's a couple of quotes I have down here. Kind of get out of the victim mentality and take back power in your
Wow.
life. I know. It's a big one because as someone who, immigrant background, like low income family, eldest daughter, and Asian woman in tech that went through a lot. I think I did hold a lot of resentment.
Yeah.
And I was like,
understandably.
why, me? And I let that be my energy on my day to day. I think there's some truth to, there's trauma for sure. But let's process that. Try to take control back.
I've thought of it very much as both things can be true. As in, you are not given the same hand of cards as everybody else.
Mhm.
You did not have the same privileges, and it's not fair.
It's not.
It isn't. You now have to decide what you're going to do about it.
Mm.
Where I don't think it's wrong for you to focus on what you don't have versus what others do. But you can also choose to just instead focus, here's the hand I've been dealt. Let me play it to the best of my capabilities.
I think once upon a time I used to hate holidays because I hated my family because we had bad relationships. And then I was like, wait, what if I didn't? I was like, I want to live a life where I can have great relationship with my family.
Just rewrite how you think and feel about it.
It took years, but it was like an intentional choice of, wait, I don't have to live that way. And what if I try to change it and commit to that and take on that responsibility of my own life and accept that maybe that is a path that's possible for me. So let's make that happen. There's a little quote here. When you get bit by a snake, you have to suck out all the poison. This part of me where I would be so motivated by the negative of my life, the trauma, but then I would operate off of the chip on my shoulder, the pain, the trauma, right? Like, I'll show you, and it gets you somewhat far. There's a fire for sure, but it's not healthy for the long term. And it creates a game that you might not ever win at. I'll show you, show who?
Yeah.
Who's going to care? Are you ever going to get them to say, yes, you were right. 5 years ago, I bullied you. I'm so sorry. Like that never happens.
It's like resentment is a powerful motivator, but does it run out and then leave you in a spot where you missed out on potentially the bigger, broader thing you could have done?
It's like the drug that powers you at the beginning. It's like really exciting, but it runs out and you cannot keep fueling yourself from it.
I've definitely been resentment powered before.
Same, yeah.
Even that point on the holidays. I don't hate holidays, to be clear, but I've never loved them because for similar reasons, right? Most people go and spend time with their families. And I don't, but in a weird way, I made my peace with it in a different direction as you. I think you made your peace with it as in okay, well, I'm going to try and be closer to my family now and go to these holidays.
Because I want it. I wanted that outcome.
Exactly. And I think for me, weirdly, I also made my peace with it. I don't, as you can probably, I don't feel like this burning, oh, I hate holidays. I kind of made the opposite. I'm like, yeah, you know what? Holidays are just not going to be family time. And that's a choice. That's okay.
It's a choice.
Yeah.
Lesson 19 is you are the average of the top 5 influences around you.
/ people around you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's a classic. 4 out of 5. It's
classic.
True. Which, by the way, means we're influencing each other a lot. It's very reflexive because we've been in a lot of these pods. We've had a lot of conversational time between the two of us. And I think that's why people like podcasts, because say you want to bring somebody into your circle of 5 people to, try and improve or change how you want to think about things. Maybe there's nobody around, but that's why watching from others, that's why YouTube is so cool. You get to sort of take a dip into other people's lives and how they think.
Yeah. And I think this lesson, how it plays out in my life was being a lot more selective with my friends.
Yeah.
With the people I let into my life and the people I give my forks to. Not everyone deserves your time and your energy and your love. And a lot of people are like energy suckers, like energy vampires. They just take. And it's hard to tell when you're in it because everything looks so minute and small and it's fine. But it all
builds up.
It does. And when you finally realize it's too late.
5 out of 5.
Lesson 20, nobody really cares.
That's a good one.
In both the good and the bad.
Well, I feel like sometimes people care, but nobody that you should care about cares.
Correct. That's right.
That's the modification I'd make.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll find random haters, but they're probably not the ones that you ought to be paying attention to anyways.
Gosh, there is a quote on this. It's like, those who mind don't matter, and those who
matter
don't mind. Yeah. That's a good one. I'm going to write that down.
Yeah. Next. I like it.
Lesson 21 is about talent. Talent, just assume you have it. Talent is one of those convenient words that we use to say after someone has become accomplished.
See, I actually really like that because I've never thought of it this way. Obviously, things are easier when you're talented in them. But how the fuck do you know you have talent?
Who knows?
Anyways,
They say no one knows.
Are you waiting for like the fucking spotlight to descend from the heavens to give you a moment to shine like it's a movie, and then it turns out you could do it all along? In order to find out if you're good at something, you kind of have to try it first, and then if you're going to try it, acting as if you have talent might be the difference that leads to you developing it.
Correct. Like sometimes people don't even know until like the second time their 8-year-old cousin like went to Carnegie Hall to perform.
Right.
You just don't know. There's no way to know before the fact. Stop worrying whether you have talent or not, and don't blame failures on the lack of it. That's just a cop-out. Just do the thing.
Are there things that you think you are not talented in?
I think it's just that narrative in your head of, I'm not an artist, I'm not a designer, I'm not a creative, I'm not smart enough for this. I think that can actually influence the way that when an opportunity of learning comes up, then you like shut off, right? Like, I'm just bad at money. Therefore, I'm not going to talk about it.
There's a study called the stereotype threat. And what they did was they had minorities go and
I know the study. Yeah.
Exactly. They had minorities go and mark before taking a test that they were minorities, and then measure the performance on the test, and they would actually perform worse because just being reminded, I fall into this bucket that society has negative thoughts about, affected how they thought about themselves and actually did worse.
Yeah.
How you think about yourself matters, and whether you think you have talent.
I agree. 22. Play the infinite game.
Like 22 is my lucky number, by the way, because it's my birthday, July 22nd, 22.
Okay, I was like,
so.
Yeah.
It's not my birthday again.
I had to think about that one.
Yeah, you're like, you just had one.
Yeah.
Your birthday's coming up really soon, right?
Yeah.
November
16.
16. I knew it was in the teens. Yeah.
Yeah, this one's like obviously has been great in terms of, I think I've been a little bit short-sighted with my goals in my 20s with like the promotion, the next thing, the next company, the next career ladder. But I think if I look at life as the long game, even if it takes me 5 years, then it takes me 5 years. Then 5 years later, when I'm 35, I can actually be good at it versus saying, well, it's going to take me 5 years, so I might as well not do it at all.
Yeah, I think of infinite game, one thing that helped me understand, because initially I was like, well, 𝙃𝙊𝘖𝙊𝘆, I'm not going to live infinitely, so this is not a helpful analogy for me. I have like X years, but then I realized, no, it's more just hopefully the thing you're doing is something that gives meaning in itself to you, as opposed to something that only gets meaning if you win. Yeah. And I think that's what it means by infinite game, because you're never going to get to the stage where somebody's won or not. Yeah. Because even when you do, those things pass really quickly. So hopefully you just like playing it.
Yeah, exactly. So in the finite game, the goal is to win. And most days you're not going to win until you do. And then that's like the one day. But then the infinite game is the goal is to keep playing. So every day you're technically winning because you keep playing. So it's almost like a more positive way on learning that thing to cross.
Would you, if you could switch your life with other people's, would you?
No. Wait, maybe?
Yeah.
No. I just want to be a singer.
That's the exception.
Yeah, I just want to sing, but I'm like, I don't really know if there's like a particular person. If I could go back in time, I would
focus more on singing.
Correct. Yeah. It is such a beautiful thing. Yeah, I wish I knew. Wait, I guess you would trade.
Me?
Yeah. We talked about this before, but I didn't get a clear answer from you.
Yeah, I would. Just for a more mentally stable and happier version of myself.
I believe you can get there.
Thanks, Chloe.
It'll happen.
Yeah, there's a variant of me running around in the multiverse who's me, but not me. I'm like, that guy I'll take.
Okay. Sometimes I think about like future Chloe, and I'm like, I'm going to be future Chloe. I'm going to make her proud.
Well, in a way, that's the same theme you had in your poem, right? You're talking about this other version of yourself, right? That is you, but is not you.
Yeah.
That's really surreal, though. We always think to ourselves, if you can meet yourself from 10 years ago, what would that be like? And it's like, well, yeah, think about presenting yourself to yourself from the future. Would that change what you're doing now?
Yeah, for sure. Are you ready for the next one?
Yeah.
23. It's never an overnight success.
Yeah, it's true.
Slow progress is good progress.
Yeah, it's a good one.
I almost think like within that, anything that comes too fast is suspicious.
And unfortunately, there will be people who just hit sudden quick success, but that's just such variance. You can't really try to emulate it yourself.
Yeah, but it's also hard to say.
And for everyone who like hits the crypto lottery, right? There are tons of people who lost their crypto life savings.
Terrifying.
Yeah.
24, health is wealth.
Yeah, especially as they get older. You know, I just went to the dentist a couple days ago.
I love that for you.
Yeah, it's great. And I saw a chiropractor after, and like, I was just like, oh.
And therapy, and you work out.
Yeah, I mean, we got to do that when we're in our 30s because it runs out. When you're in your 20s, you can eat like shit and you can do shit and you'll be fine. When you're 30s, you and I, we play pickleball a little too hard. The next day, we're wrecked.
Hungover. Physical health, mental health, and financial health is what I meant by health.
All things.
Yes. And then also sleep, a good diet, and water solve pretty much 80% of my problems.
I'm not good at the sleep part, but I agree.
Yeah. Lesson 25 is around love, of finding the one. And it really is what we talked about earlier. But I think how do you know if they're the one is when they're your best friend and you actually like hanging out with them. This is for me, and I feel everyone has different definition. 2 is you really believe that it's not you against them, but us against the problem. Like you turn towards each other. You have this leap of faith and this ability to envision your life and your future no matter what happens. Like I choose you in my life in every version, in every alternate universe. No matter what happens.
It's like everything everywhere once. Even if it's just laundry and taxes, I wanted to be with you.
Yeah. And then next is it's not about that they are the one, but that you chose them and that's why they're the one.
Right.
And then 4 is a little bit of timing when you're at that stage of life and you're ready for commitment.
Wow, I love you have like all these subsections to number 25.
Subnotes. You have to know how to fight well with them. Like after
Are you
a
giving
fight,
me subsections to your subsections?
Yes. Fight well. After a fight, you feel stronger, not resentment. And the next is love should be easy. If it feels hard, there's some things to work through.
Yeah.
It should feel easy. Like, of course, there are challenges, but loving is easy.
On that note, I met a guy who went around telling everybody saying, oh, yeah, I was going to say I met a girl.
Yeah, I was like,
LOL. Nah. I met a guy who he met his wife because he went around to all his friends and said, if you refer me to someone I'll marry, I'll give you 10% of my wedding budget as thanks. And it worked.
That's crazy.
So yes, to all those things. And maybe go around to all your friends and offer 10% of your wedding budget as a referral bonus. Kind of hilarious.
That's wild. Lesson 26 is on the art of letting go, how to let go. And we talked about this with Jimmy Wong. The first step of letting go is admit that this no longer served you. That once upon a time it did. In your survivalist mentality, it did. But now, today, moving forward, it's not going to get you to the next stage of where you want to be. Then recontextualize that thing. It's not just about like, dropping the thing, but knowing where's the other direction that you need to step forward. And it could be the complete opposite, but just put that in your head. What is the story you want to live? Who is the protagonist in your life and how do they want to live and how do you be that protagonist? And then recognize that you have full accountability in your life. Yes, I think part of that feels really privileged. When I heard that, it's like, everything's a choice. Happiness is a choice. That's totally a privileged thing to say, and I recognize that. And it took me a long time to get there, to feel the power of I can be accountable for my life and I'm going to do what it takes to get there. But it was a growth journey for sure. When it gets hard, because undoubtedly you will default back to your original ways of going back to the thing that you survived, that helped you survive. And just know that that's okay. And it did serve you once upon a time, but no more, and continue. I loved it a lot. I think it's like the process of unlearning things that helped you survive.
Everything helps to a certain point, and then sometimes the thing that helped you now constrains you.
27, you know this. It may not be your fault, but it is your responsibility.
Oh, I think I actually said that phrasing the other day.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a way to accept my role in this without feeling like a shit human being.
I don't know where the context is, but yay.
I mean, just in general.
Okay.
All things, both personal and business, right? Whatever happened, it is your responsibility.
Correct.
I think that kind of ties in with deciding not to be a victim and trying to make choices of your own. Doesn't mean it's your fault, though.
Yeah. And that's okay. And just know that. 28 is know your why. I feel like there's so much packed into this.
Know your why. Like why you do things, why you care.
Like why you're here, what you want to get out of this. And if you have your why, then you'll be far less swayed by other people inserting their advice, suggestions. You should.
Because it doesn't align with your why.
Correct. I think I was. Just tell me what I need to do. I'll do it.
Right.
But like it's so empty. And you just get thrashed, and then you look back and you're like, what was all that for? And then the time is gone, the investment is made, and the energy is spent.
What is your why?
I mean, what game are we talking about?
When you wake up every day in the morning.
I think it's different in every phase of my life, but this year is the year that I want to pay my respects to the girl who had dreams growing up.
Yeah,
all the dreams.
You're quote unquote grown up.
This 30. Is the first time I have the privilege, the time, I guess the capability to go pursue the things I said I wanted to do.
Right.
I'm not creative enough, but I want to be a creative. I don't sing well enough, but I want to be a singer. I don't know how to produce this. I'm going to go learn how to produce it. I'm not a podcast host. And here we are. Whoa. Jinx, you owe me a soda.
Yeah. What did you say?
Jinx, you owe me a soda.
I've never heard of that.
What?
I only drink water, by the way.
I know.
I got you water.
No, but you'll
I'll
give
get
me
you,
a soda.
I'll get you a glass
and
of
you
water,
can get a water.
using your own cup from your own sink. But yes, that was a nice moment that I ruined.
Yeah. Anyways, 29. Being busy is a trap. And this is something to struggle
It's
with.
tied to your point on it's okay to be alone.
Kind of. A little bit of like, sometimes we are looking busy, seeming busy, seems like we're creating a fulfilling life. But it's not about filling the calendar. It's about fulfillment is living the day to which you feel proud of and you feel enjoyment. And that one really big aspect of fulfillment is playtime. And this is a Brene Brown thing. Like, play is doing things that have no real purpose. We do these things simply because we enjoy them, not because we're hoping to achieve something as vital to human development. It's at the core of creativity and innovation, which is why I need a day of no schedule. I just need to be with my
so
paper.
Funny. You have structured, unstructured time.
Yes. I think that's how I'm trying to work it into my life.
It kind of reminds me how relationship therapists say if you're in a couple, eventually you have to plan out times for sex.
Yeah.
In a weird way.
Couples do that.
Yeah. Yeah. You need to plan out for yourself time to just not plan and not be structured.
All right. We're on lesson 30.
It's a big
and
deal.
it says, I don't have a lesson for this. I have 10 lessons for this. You know how someone says,
Sure.
I didn't have time to write a short letter, so I wrote a long one?
Right.
Yeah, that's what this is. So I have a bunch, but
Okay.
it's like some random ones.
Wow,
like,
this is a lie. This isn't even 30. This
I
is
know.
this is like 45 lessons
Yeah,
by
I don't
30.
know. Follow up. Being not nice is not the same as being kind. If it's not, fuck yeah.
Wait, no,
no.
okay. If you're gonna go through them properly, you're just going wow, word salad.
Yeah, I'm not even gonna. It's a word salad. So
Well, no, let's
I'm
hear
out.
them. Let's hear them.
That was it.
Wait, what was your 30th lesson?
It was like a hodgepodge. It was a hodgepodge.
Your 30th lesson was just a word
I like
cloud.
that word, hodgepodge.
It was a word cloud of inspiring words.
Yeah, 80-20 effort. Learn to do things at 85%. Invest in yourself. Worrying doesn't empty tomorrow of its troubles, but it empties today's of its strengths. Nothing changes if nothing changes. Failure is just progress to success. Some friendships are here for a good time, not a long time. All right, I'm moving on.
I feel like I'm in front of like the Chloe fortune cooking vending machine, and you're just like dispensing these like pithy one-liners with no context.
Yeah,
just moving on
like
to the
semi-deep, but like I'm not sure what it's about, but like I feel it.
Yeah, it's like your 30th lesson is just a bunch of vibes.
I haven't finished writing it, okay?
So you wrote 29 of them, and for the 30th one,
There's like 10.
you're like, no, let's just word vomit.
I just have a lot, and I haven't figured out what my top 30 was. Like I wrote this list multiple times, so we're ready for your 3.
You already went through most of them, which is good.
I want to know what yours were.
Well, the 3 I was going to say, sorry, I'm still getting over your word vomit for number 30.
Was that weird?
It's just like, what? It's like, have you ever heard of the concept of a shaggy dog story?
No? Scooby-Doo?
No, it's a trope from storytelling. You're like, hey, let me tell you a story. Like, I have this friend named Ben. Like, Ben went out the other day on drive to New Hampshire, and his like car got trapped along the way in a ditch. And you just keep going. You just keep telling the story, and then it's just no punchline.
Oh yeah, I've been there. That's
But,
called
like,
the Shaggy Dog story.
Yeah, like the punchline is there's no punchline.
Correct.
I feel like you just took out a shaggy dog story. It's like 30 lessons by 30, and we got a 29. It's like, okay,
But I gave you like 35.
No, your 30th.
And then we'll pick one.
Your 30th one was just like, here's like 15 different things I've thought of before the shower.
They're good shower thoughts.
They are good shower thoughts, but the viewers came for 30.
You know what? This was supposed to be 33 lessons of your life, not my life. And then I had to come in because I was the only one prepared in this conversation.
What do you mean? You had to come.
We agreed for weeks that this would be his 33 life lessons because he's turning 33.
Excuse me. I said I was down. It just take me a while. And then one day you're like, well, let me just do it.
Yeah, because I was like, you're not doing it.
This is true.
Yeah, you didn't get to it.
Yeah, well, me not doing it.
So I was like, why don't you just do 3? And I can do 30.
Yeah, and then you went through them already. My 3, thank you, were number 1, nobody knows shit. Very similar to what you said. You think when you're young that other people with more experience with worry know more than you do. No, they were just willing to put themselves out there and gain the experience. And again, for me, like the really big realization, it's very similar to yours. You said you realized this at a startup. When I was at Instagram, like some of the best consumer minds on the planet, it's like, what are we going to build next? And we just like sit around and be like,
twiddle thumbs.
yeah, let's think about it. And not to like criticize. It's more like, this is just how it is. You just have to sit there and use your goddamn brain and think via first principles. Everyone who's done stuff before didn't know any more than you did. That's actually very inspiring for you just to try shit now. So that was number 1. Nobody knows shit.
I like. Number
Number 2, you don't suck.
But
No, there's no but. You don't suck. Like, I think for me growing up, I alternated between periods of like, oh yeah, I'm better than everyone, I'm smarter. And like, oh God, I'm a piece of shit. And I think that vacillation between the two vibes are both symptoms of the same underlying like lack of self-esteem. And this also, like, I've mentioned this before, but like Amy Chua, the like Yale Law School professor, wrote a whole thing on the triple triad of traits that help immigrants do well. And it was like, you think you're better than people, you think you're worse than people, and you work hard, right? And I think as time goes on, it's kind of like, you're just a person. You don't suck. You're not really better, but you're not really worse. And that's empowering because in a world where nobody knows anything, and you don't suck, it leads to my third point. You get to make a choice. You get to do it. If the entire environment is just all of us humans and we're all just humans, then it really just comes down to whatever you want to do with what you have. And I think this ties to your point. Like, what you have might have been unfairly assigned. You may have more than others. You may also have less than others. We don't know about that, but all you get to choose is now what you're going to do with it. Those were my 3 to get us to 33 lessons by 33.
33.
Yeah, because you had like 10 lessons for your last one. You just literally started saying vibes.
I'm working on it.
It was good. It was good. Overall, I'm going to give that 33 stars out of 5.
Thank you. I love it. I love your 3 too. It's very succinct, tied together. Yeah. It's a nice little
I like them to tie together, you know. I like to have the sequiturs, you know, the linking.
Well, we finally did this episode that we said we'd be doing for a while now.
And hopefully all of you Jomo Mojos have walked away with 33 more pieces of wisdom. Let us know in the comments if you think there's anything that we missed.
Or like which one really spoke to you.
Or which one that you think is a 1 out of 5.
You mean like a 10 out of 5?
Sure, if that makes Chloe feel better.
It does.
But, you know, I know what you mean.
Yeah. Also, total side tangent, but to the random commenter who always drops a thirst comment on Eric's biceps, I look forward to your comment every single week.
Damn.
And with that, we'll see you next week. Well, thank you, Jummies.
I feel like a piece of meat here.
Thank
Chloe's
you. We're going to move on. Goodbye. Enjoy your day. Enjoy your gym day. Wake up early, drink water. Goodbye.
And one day, you know, if we hit 100 Jomo Sapiens, you'll get a picture of Chloe's feet.
No, I'm cosplaying Eric.
And a picture of Chloe's feet.
No, just cosplaying Eric. And then we get Eric's abs.
No. We're going to figure this out later.
Bye, guys.
All right, bye. That's a wrap.
Hi, Jummies. This is Eric.
This is Chloe.
And this is our weekly Jomo Angels shout out. Thank you to Jay, Eric Wu, Austin Lin,
𝙎𝙊𝘾𝙄𝘼𝙋𝙍, Erin Shea, and Maya Long.
We appreciate
so
you.
Deeply.
Yeah. Thank you for making this happen and supporting us. And we'll see you all next week. Bye.
Bye. I was jealous of 2 people. One of them had like worked their way up at Meta, and the other one's like a founder. And I was like, these are...
Oh, that is my fly thing.
Why is your fly swatter so loud? I thought it's gonna fucking die.
That's how fly things are.
No, I have one too. It's not that loud. You have like, Jesus Christ, like horse flies flying around here or some shit.
What are horse flies?
Big flies.
Do they look like horses?
No, they're just big flies that literally sound like a gunshot. Like somebody fucking died. Okay.
Anyway, someone did die.
We're probably going to cut this out. But
okay.
Yeah, Jesus Christ, Chloe.
My bad.